What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Web3 Football channel after a very exciting round of 16 in the FIFA 2022 World Cup, full of plenty of headlines, including Messi continuing to carry Argentina through the tournament. I guess kind of the rise or the exaggeration on the rise of Kylian Mbappe against Poland. Brazil battering South Korea, Morocco knocking out Spain, and Portugal battering Switzerland, amongst much more. Why are you shaking your head?
Because I love how, how insane this week's been, your first thing is Messi carrying Argentina.
It was the first game I looked at.
Okay, Spurs. Still, home.
The first game I looked at.
The bet's coming in, Sean.
Put some respect. Put some respect on the goat. Put some respect on the goat. But yeah, we finally have our quarter-finalist matchups, which we'll get onto at the end of this. But yeah, it's been a pretty crazy round of 16. Well, I guess before we go into the game by game, any initial thoughts on the round?
It's a little weird that everything apart from one game went with the bookies, it was all favourites. And that was a bit weird coming off the group stage, which was everything against that. So that was what's surprising for me, and my bank account, because I was slamming underdogs everywhere. Again.
I know. Yeah. Especially after like you said, the performance of some of the teams in the group match. I didn't think the US would win, but it was a small part of me which believed in them. And Japan. So I'm so sad to see Japan go. So sad. That's for later on.
Mm-hmm.
First game of the round on Saturday or Friday was the Netherlands taking on the US. So the Kings of Group A taking on second place of Group B. 3-1 to the Dutch. Did you manage to watch this game?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. I think my theme for all these is there are just levels to football. And I think this was another, but they manifest in different ways. So this game was all about there's levels to coaching, because Louis van Gaal just absolutely, especially after the group, everyone seemed to be really bigging up this USA coach, which was fair. I think he did really well to get out of that group the way he did. But they drew to Wales. They drew with England, who did not turn up at all, and they scraped past Iran. Okay results, but expected. And then when it came time to you show up, you bench Carter Vickers, and you get absolutely chest matched by Van Gaal and never in this game.
Yeah, I actually, to an extent, I thought that they were in this game. I think if they had better quality up front, then I think this game is a lot closer than what the scoreline tells us. The US had more shots on target in the game than the Dutch did. It's not as if they weren't posing an attacking threat. At least that was my assumption of the game.
Yeah.
I just think they really lack that killer up front that is able to do it for them in those moments, especially at this level. Everyone was looking to, all the US team and the US media, we all know how much they big up Christian Pulisic. And everyone on that US side was looking to him at this game to produce that moment. And I think just historically thinking of Pulisic, apart from that goal that cemented the title for Liverpool against Man City a few years ago, I've not seen much magic from him, especially in tournament competitions, knockout football.
Yeah.
So I think that was their main downfall, in my opinion. But I think the Dutch did defend really, really, really well.
It felt when watching it, to me, especially the first half, you were just oh, okay, it's going to be a long day for the US, because Van Gaal set up in a way. It's so cool, because you don't really often see it that much in football, where oh, we're just going to make you do exactly what you don't want to do the whole game. We're going to give your centre-back the ball, and we're going to press on your centre midfielders, and your worst players are going to have to beat us. Yeah. It's a kind of real coaching strategy in like different sports. But watching it at this level of football and watching all the Netherlands players buy in, because their strength is their centre-backs, and it's like, you're not going to... Pulisic and who was playing on the other side? Weah. We trapped that they're not going to be able to unlock the door, and they didn't. And yeah, for me, I just felt like it was so comfortable. It's like when you watch those games where smaller teams like go to Anfield, have a couple of shots on target, and then lose 3-1. It just felt like one of those games to me. But it's in the second they were in it. They had chances, but at no point after the first goal went in was I like, the Dutch are going to lose this game. I just couldn't see how it was going to work with the setups.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from. I think there was a part of me when when the US goal went in, and it was somewhere between the 70th and the 80th minute, and I don't know. I think just the way that they'd been playing the whole game, I thought that the chance might present itself for them to nick it, and with none of this Dutch team having really gone far in an international tournament before, anything's on the cards. But that third Dutch goal that Dumfries scored was just literally schoolboy defending. Dumfries so open at the back. It just felt as if anyone had forgotten that he had been basically their right winger for the entire game, just because on the pitch he's a right back. And they just left him wide open, and it was a strange finish with like the side of his calf, but it went in.
He was phenomenal.
That was the killer.
He was phenomenal all game.
But
no, because the US were really good in the first 10 as well. They started brightly, and then they had a spell after the goal. But they were just lacking an edge. You know, it seemed like a few of these teams really we'll get to were just lacking an edge. Spain. And then, just a shame for them after a positive group. But I got a lot more confident on the Dutch. A lot more confident.
Yeah. It felt as if Depay finally arrived as well. Like Gakpo's class, and he offers them like more of a physical presence than Depay, I think. But there's just those like little technical things that Depay offers you that I don't think another player in the Dutch team can bring. And I thought Van Dijk was class all game, just did everything he needed to right. Held the line brilliantly, didn't take any chances, just a real captain's performance from known to be the best centre back in the world for the past few years. Got to get that in there. But I think what we were saying about the US and what we've been saying about them before, just the tournament too early, I think. And given that they're hosting the next one, I think that's really what they're working towards anyway. Yeah.
Well, one last closing thing I do have on them, because that seems to be like the common sentiment with the US is like tournament too early. It's like I think what I'm learning more and more, especially this round, has really taught me that if you have not got really high level talent, it's going to be hard. And I do not see much world class footballers in that US team, or many coming through at all. Maybe people love Gio Reyna, but people loved Pulisic and he never made it. So we'll see. I think that's a tough thing to bank on emerging in 4 years.
Yeah, it's tough, but I think the groundwork is definitely there. And watching USA in this tournament versus previous tournaments, it's a whole nother level up, for sure.
I think where I may just be a bit confused is like, when everyone says tournament too early, did that mean like, we're aiming for the semis, or like, let's get to the quarterfinal, just be a better team,
Well, obviously amongst the players, they'll have their goal, like, we want to win this, like, have no other goal of anything else. But you also have to have something we talked about recently is realistic expectations of where you actually can really see yourself ending up, and you can't judge yourself too harshly if you exceed that expectation but don't win.
Yeah,
that's my view on it anyway.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I have my doubts then, but we'll see. Next one.
But moving on to the next game in the round, same took place on the same day as the last. We had Argentina taking on Australia. Good game to watch.
Good game
to watch. What did you think?
Yeah, great game. Really enjoyed this one. Loved this Australia team. Especially with how much everyone was burying them going to this tournament. Which makes you realise no one watches any football and still has takes. Which I'm loving realising, is people don't watch games but have takes, which is mental.
Yeah. Us included.
Yeah, us included. And I'm starting to realise I just need to not have takes unless, watch some YouTube highlights maybe before, and you'll be able to have an opinion. But... I think the main topic really is, did this not worry you a bit about Argentina? Because it did worry me.
Only at the end. The last 5 minutes worried me. But I think that was just because of that own goal. And people just started to worry a little bit. But I always thought that they would bring it home. But then there was that one chance at the end where... Emi Martinez made a huge save. So I guess in some capacity.
I think it's after at the time I was like, oh yeah, good win. Australia got really lucky with the young goal, and that chance at the end was just that happens all the time in football. Something just goes crazy, a ball bounces one way and they nearly score. What worries me a bit more is that how every other favourite team blew away better teams. What England did to Senegal, what Portugal did last night, which we'll get onto, what Brazil did. It's Argentina they haven't had one of those, and they had Australia. I thought they would have been able to put them to the sword, which may be nothing, because Australia battled really hard, showed a lot more heart than some of those other teams did, so made it harder probably, but is that just a sign of things to come, that Argentina aren't going to blow anyone away? It's going to be a war, and the teams are only getting better.
This has been what I've saying since I put my money on them. The last, when they had that unbeaten run, they weren't battering teams at all. I think most of the time they'd win by 1-0 or 2-0 2-1. So the gap in the goal difference in the game is never that large. It never seems at the end of a game that they've ran it. But I think when that pattern starts to re-emerge over and over and over, it's not just down to they held on for their lives at the end of the game. This is the way they play. This is the way they set up. They're set up to give Messi the best opportunity with the ball and everyone do everything else.
Yeah.
And it's worked for them for, bar Saudi Arabia, 38 games out of 39. So I understand what you mean, especially given the performance of some of the other teams in the competition.
Yeah.
But we also saw some batterings from teams that, haven't made it to this stage of the competition. So I think sometimes that's just how football can be.
Yeah. Fair point. Perfectly valid. Yeah, because looking at the games in isolation, Saudi Arabia was a blip, but they did create loads in that game. It's not like they were struggling to make chances.
Yeah.
Otamendi looks way better than what I was giving him credit for. He bossed that game against Australia. I just I don't know, I just feel I would have wanted it to be a little bit more convincing against the opposition they've had. That's why it's not really a strong take, because if they go and beat Holland 2-0, then that's all disregarded. But it's just it's how I feel about their ability to go do that from what I've seen is I don't know. And part of me does fancy Holland in this game. But we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
We'll get onto that.
I think so. I was kind of in more of a similar mindset, at least, until someone brought up yesterday during the Spanish game that in 2010 Spain won every, if not almost all, of their games by 1-0.
Yeah, fairs. Yeah, fairs.
It doesn't always. If you win, you win. The result of the game isn't necessarily always important.
Yeah, good point. Lends itself to how they. That's the thing. But yeah, I was just about to say though that lends itself to how they play, but that also lends itself to how Argentina play. Yeah, it's like win the 50-50s, work harder, and Messi will get us through this. And that's fine. He's not going to score a hat-trick every game. So that's exactly that's the game plan.
Yeah. So he just needs to... That's the thing. He just needs one... Not even a clear-cut chance. Like a chance you'd probably give like 0.2 in expected goals. Or an opportunity to create something. Which I think in this tournament, Argentina would have scored tons more goals if they had anyone up front who could finish apart from Messi. And Alvarez and a couple chances he's been given. Martinez has had it served on a plate to him about 15 times in this tournament.
Yeah, that should
be painful.
I take it all back. Actually, you should have led with that. You could have bodied me in this. Because if you just said, if Alvarez never went off, it would have been 4-1.
Yeah. I think Alvarez has to play now. He gives them that extra energy and those extra legs up front. But yeah, sad to see Australia go, but given their ability to only score one goal in a game,
it was time.
In this whole tournament, it was it was about time. But so that's one quarterfinal decided. We have the Netherlands taking on Argentina. But to go back to the round of 16s, the next game I believe we had was France against Poland, which was a very, very good game.
First half especially, yeah.
Very, very good game. Yeah, and saw something from Poland in this game that had not seen for the entire tournament.
Creativity.
Yeah, I know. It was nice to see. It just felt as if every time they were able to create a chance, it just kept falling to the wrong person. Like, I can't really remember a clear-cut chance that Lewandowski had in this game. But I think if any of those chances had fallen to him, this game could have ended differently. But unfortunately for Poland, it ended up being 3-1 to France, and Lewandowski only got a goal in the 100th minute, and it was basically a consolation penalty. So, another washover for the French, but another outstanding game for Kylian Mbappe.
Killy. Yeah. Sturridge is losing his mind, by the way. I think he's got like a permanent summit that's wrong with him.
I love him. Yeah, I love it. He's funky. So funny.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because you kind of want to come in here and say Mbappe's probably the best player in the world right now, but you watch it and it's like my guy's playing FIFA sometimes. Like he just is trying to shoot and score at the sacrifice of like the team, especially in that second half against Poland. But then he will just put one in the top corner, and you're like, Christ.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. It's that. That's the thing, you can allow someone to do all of those things if twice in a game they're going to create that sort of moment.
Yeah, he's Ronaldo when Ronaldo was great. That's how I feel it is.
Frightening.
Yeah, he just...
Frightening.
Ronaldo reincarnated. Probably quicker off the mark. Doesn't jump as high. Just all.
Yeah, I think that's those are like the only differences, really, isn't it?
The stats, though, I think Mbappe's problem is that no one really likes Mbappe. That in like Britain, I don't know what it's like in Portugal. They really love Mbappe there, but from British attitude towards Mbappe seemed to very much be spoiled kid, plays in France, a lower league, that kind of thing. But at
Yeah.
what point can you just say, well, he scored more goals than Messi has at this point in his career? Nearly 100 more than Ronaldo, I think. And
God, I don't know.
yeah, I saw the stat.
The numbers are scary.
Yeah,
the numbers
it's more.
are scary.
It's more than both of them. So he scored more World Cup goals than them both, and played in way less games. And it's not like they play for
Is
farmers.
it nine World Cup goals?
Yeah, and both of them two have not scored. Only just scored their like knockout goals. Ronaldo still hasn't scored one. And if this is the biggest competition of them all, like if Mbappe goes on will this World Cup, it's tough to then not say that he's on the trajectory to be one of those kind of players, and it hurts. It's like part of me doesn't want him to be, like kinda. I guess he's quite unlikable, but everyone loves on Twitter and shit to just talk about numbers, and if we are just doing that kind of crap, then it's hard not to. I would not take him, but like it's hard not to look at this Mbappe and be like, he isn't on track to be maybe the best player to ever play, at least player of a generation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when he has to do it until he's basically 35 is I think that's probably the trickiest part of trying to become one of those two, or can be considered on the same level as those two. Like Messi basically did it from when he was 16 until he was now. I think he's 35 or 36 now. Ronaldo basically 17 until he was 37. Like 20 to do those numbers for 20 years is just frightening. But like you said, neither of them have a World Cup attached to their name. Messi's only just scored his first World Cup goal, knockout goal rather. I think Mbappe might have overtaken Ronaldo in World Cup goals. And this, if you're a young, I think if you're a football fan anywhere and someone asks you what would you rather win, a Champions League or a World Cup?
In close.
I think that for some reason there might be a small fraction of people that would say a Champions League, but I think a heavy majority of people would go with the World Cup. Like that's what makes you remembered in your country. Like that. Don't get me wrong. Like Messi and Ronaldo will be remembered, but the people of like you just have to look in Argentina. They still don't really look at Messi like that, even though he's done it for 20 years. Whereas Mbappe's done it. Won a World Cup when he was 18, and when we went to France, the reception when they said Mbappe's name in that stadium was mental. Mental.
But he was the best player on that team, and he was 19.
Yeah,
scoring in big games. He scored in the final, didn't he?
He scored 2 in the final.
Yeah, so like that, like when it comes to legacy. Like that's something Messi and Ronaldo have never achieved. And Messi's played in the game. That like Messi has played in that game and didn't do it. They lost, which is tough. It's a team game, and arguably Mbappe did play in a better team, but he played like they've all played in great teams. And Mbappe's never at the. And it's when you're watching the World Cup as well. It is the biggest stage by far. Like it's so much bigger than the Champions League. Like, you feel it. You're watching group stage games, and it feels like a Champions League semi-final. Like, but
20 million British people don't tune in to watch a Champions League round of 16.
Way. They don't tune into the final.
Yeah.
It'll be on Sky. I know people who like football who myth that shit because their team aren't in it. Like, where everyone is watching Morocco play Canada. So, it's the biggest stage, and he doesn't just excel. He looks like the best player there. And if he goes through this and wins it and scores 5-6 goals, it's scary. Like, I don't even know what to call that guy because he has 2 more chances at it in great teams. Say if he gets another one,
I'm just trying to work it out. If he was to score 6 more goals in this World Cup,
and this one,
which. It
could be.
Yeah, well, like there's how many games? Quarterfinal, semi-final, final. It's 2 a game. It's not un-Mbappe like, but that's him at 23. I think that's him equaling Miroslav Klose's all-time record.
Yeah, he's 20. Yeah.
What the hell?
in it. And every great player ever has played in this tournament multiple times. Ronaldo's played at 5.
Yeah.
5, scored in 5.
Yeah.
Ronnie's been at 2. No, Mbappe's been at 2. Yeah, it's annoying because, yeah, like, Fairs.
Yeah.
And he's 20, like, he's not even in his prime.
Yeah, I think he gives me more R9 than CR7.
Yeah, because of the physical tools.
Like, energy.
Yeah, because of the physical. That's
and,
a great
like,
shout.
the fact that at Ronaldo's age, he won the World Cup. Well, sorry, at like the age of 19, Ronaldo won the World Cup, top scorer at the tournament, won the Ballon d'Or, never managed to win the Champions League. Mbappe hasn't yet. I don't doubt at some point in his career he will, but just the way that they play as well, the pace, the power, like he's not a weak man like Mbappe. He looks quite slight, but he throws people off him. He's a freak, man. He is a freak.
Yeah. And
to top it all off, he looks like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, I think all this. Yeah, we got to close. We got to move on. We're flying through this, but to close on this is all this Messi Ronaldo like hatred and like back and forth between the fans because of social media. You do think you kind of like all this other stuff kind of goes behind, like plays second fiddle, and there comes a point now where I just really hope he gets his move. Like, I really hope he gets a move. Because if he can go... Could look what I've done for Haaland. Like, Haaland does it in the Premier League, and everyone talking about him like he's a god amongst men. But if Mbappe goes and does that for Real Madrid, I think, like, at least his... Like, he's done so much more than Haaland. And for everyone you to put them together... Like, I did, before this, was putting them, like, head and head. But, like, it's disrespectful. It is disrespectful. Because at the biggest tournament of them all, my guy's won the thing and is out here dominating his second one at 23. Haaland scored some goals in the Premier League and the Bundesliga. No trophies.
Yeah, I would also say you can't help where you're born, though.
Yeah.
Like...
But...
But even without... I'm going to say, even without Mbappe in that World Cup French team, they're still favourites. Not this one, the one from 2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's still expecting them to win.
Yeah.
Because Haaland's playing for Norway.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, okay, so Haaland needs to have done stuff in the club game. To me.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
say Haaland, like, 2 Premier Leagues deep, maybe a Premier League, and, like, a Champions League final. Then, like, let's have the conversation, you know? Because he's younger than Mbappe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not there yet. He's not done what Mbappe's done. And yeah, like what you said they've done, but Mbappe's been tearing up Champions League for ages, been to a final, won countless leagues, but we all know what we think about that. But he had just done more. And surely it's like, let's say they're the same when Haaland's done something, like won things. Because if it is about that, because talent-wise, I don't know. I don't know, man. I kind of do like Mbappe.
Yeah, it'd be stupid not to. But I think this year really is the first year where you can, you know, without the vacuum, judge them. Because it's like, regardless of playing in the Champions League, he's playing for Dortmund, who nobody ever really expects to get past the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And he did come on... Like, yeah, what is his record in the Champions League? It's nuts.
No, it's on track to be the best ever.
And it's better than Mbappe's.
Yeah, facts.
Like, I struggle to believe that if Haaland was not playing for a top team and not Dortmund, well, no disrespect to Dortmund, but they were never the favourites to win it, that he wouldn't have one.
Yeah.
But this is all ifs and buts. It's all ifs and buts.
And that's what I think I'm getting at. It's like... With Haaland, he's perfectly capable. So he was playing for like Bayern this whole time. He may have like 2 of those things. He may. But again, it's like a may. And say Haaland gets to a Champions League final now and like doesn't have a good game, first game, biggest game of his life, he may easily not have a great game. So, and then it's like, oh, well, you know, let's give it a bit. I just need to see it, man. Just need to see it. But yeah, we don't need to talk about him now. Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah. So... The next game that was televised was England against Senegal. This is the tough one to me. I was also watching it with, I think, 7 English people, so it was very entertaining for like the first half an hour when Senegal were all over them, and I thought that they might actually come out with the win. But then as soon as it was just that one breakaway from England, and Henderson gets the ball rolled over to him after an incredible Bellingham run. And then you just saw like the Senegalese heads drop instantly, to which they were all over him. Not all over them. Like England had the ball, but the best chances had fallen to Senegal. But then you just knew when that first goal went in that it was gonna be bad from there on. I think
England. Oh man, it's like I think they just really get at a ball, and I feel if you scored first, you'd break their soul. I know it seems like it seemed like an exaggeration, but like you said, Senegal were all over them. They looked nervous. Maguire was passing it to every Senegalese player that you could, and I was like, break him, take their soul. Because just like Senegal, I think they would have caved. It felt like that. Like in the US game, it felt like they were. It's when they play freely, they seem to be really good, like kind of scarily good. But when they seem to be forced into the shape and have to execute a plan, they seem to get a bit nervous. And with the Senegal thing, it's like the plan was not working for that first 30. You nailed it. Like they were getting not battered, but they were getting exposed a little. And then they scored, tails up, dominated the rest of the game. But I wouldn't put my house on it, but France, I think could run him.
Yeah, me too.
Run him.
I think they'll go to 5 at the back.
Yeah.
They'll try to contain Mbappe with like a trio of Walker, Trippier, Henderson on that right hand side of the pitch, and I can see him having maybe Walker will make his life difficult, but the man that's like marking him is going to be Trippier. Have fun.
But I'll go play. Fun. Okay, Walker's fine. Let me go play on the right for 15. Like it just So I'm seeing all this stuff in the news about like the squad's better and like not scared of France and all this kind of stuff, and like Walker, the best person I would ever put against him. It's like, okay, if Walker does pocket Mbappe for 35 minutes, you do not think he will go play on the right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and then
he's got to deal. Yeah, and then, but it's not. The other side is Ousmane Dembele.
Yeah, you're getting smoked.
Yeah, you're
getting smoked.
It's either side.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I get it. England are playing well. They've beaten Senegal, Wales, and Iran.
Yeah.
So like, not one of those teams would you expect them to lose that game, really? So like, let's see, and I think it will be. If I'm France, I am not worried at all. It's the same stuff in all these tournaments. England have not beaten. England, have they beaten a France? They beat Germany in the Euros, who were washed.
Yeah.
They couldn't get out of the group in the tournament. Who else?
Yeah, no, that's it. Like I've gone through the list myself, like trying to find someone they've beat that is. I don't want to be disrespectful, but like a respectable footballing country to beat. In 2018, was it Panama they were in a group with?
Yeah.
And they beat them 6-1, and everyone was talking as if it was coming home. Yeah. And then they beat Colombia.
Got past Colombia on pens.
Then beat Sweden. Then lost to Croatia.
Yeah.
Then in the Euros, what was their group? Scotland. I don't know. It was, but it wasn't like a group that you're like quaking at.
Yeah.
No. And then I don't remember the teams that they beat on their route to the final. I think Poland might have been one of them, which we've seen this tournament, what Poland can show up and play like.
At home as well. Like, they got to play those
in
games
Wembley.
at Wembley. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
I know.
lost, really. He couldn't even get here. So
I know.
I get it. They are playing well. I feel it might just be frustration from all this, like, narrative changing I'm getting with, like, the English media I'm consuming, which is driving me a bit nuts. About 1 minute, bottle drops play Foden. Next minute, best team ever. Gareth Southgate's the best coach in the world.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Especially like
Jude
when
Bellingham.
you've kind of grown up with it for so long as well.
Yeah. Jude is playing incredibly. Also, did not play well against the USA. Was listening to even the Tifo guys try to tell me Jude can be the best midfielder in the world. Maybe. I'm not sure if he's there yet. You know?
Nah.
And I'm not... Just like Chouameni, Rabiot's playing out of his skin after I'm chatting shit about him on the first pod. Playing insane. Griezmann looked like a magician. And like just seemed to be in a front crazy. Usman going crazy. Mbappe going crazy. Teo Hernandez going crazy. We will see. I watch Spurs every week. Harry Kane may not show up. It's 50-50, bro.
Yeah, and he's got to get past Upamecano or Varane.
Yeah. Pocket change.
Let's Giroud, my guy's hooping. You think Harry Maguire's gonna have no trouble against Giroud?
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, he's
tripping.
back. I would hope. Senegal played guy starts for Sheffield. That was who he was again. He has to pocket that. That is your job.
Yeah.
Like the US were playing Sargent, plays for Norwich. Bale is playing for LA and Kiefer Moore. He's barely in the Bournemouth team, first season in the Prem. Iran Taremi. He scored twice.
Yeah, and he was the only attacker on the pitch.
Exactly, and one was a pen, but the other one bagged.
Yeah,
So we
and
will
it was
see.
and it was Slabhead's fault. That goal.
Exactly. So when Mbappe comes to the dance and scores twice, please keep this same energy. I beg. All these people trying to tell me that it's coming home.
This was their path to Euros after the group stage. So they beat Germany, fair play.
Yeah.
And they beat Ukraine. And then they beat Denmark.
Which one of those is better than France? Which one of them? I swear to God.
Ain't a single one. Ain't a single one. I'd love it to go to penalties though. Love it.
4-0. I want Foden as well. Foden, you played really well on Game Fair Play. Everyone talking about how he could exploit Koundé, as if Koundé isn't an at least medium to elite level footballer. Like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't look at young Phil as if, I'm in for a day. Just like how Carl and Trippier are going to have to look at Kitty on the other side.
Yeah, I know. The delusion is mental. It is mental, but...
Mental.
And the big game players everywhere. France.
All of them. Hendo
won
can't
a
see the
World
field
Cup
against
before.
Liverpool. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, God, Hendo form, like all this. Senegal. Idrissa Gueye wasn't playing. Mendy can't get on the field for Leicester. Like, come on.
Other Mendy can't start in goal for Chelsea.
Yeah. It was a good win. But Christ, please.
Tone it down.
Let's see.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. And this isn't like politics. I'm back at Paris. Messi, give me the ball, Kitty. This is, everyone wants to win this game so much for their country.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not Spain. We got goal scorers. All of them. Bagsman. It's a write-off. I genuinely I just cannot wait for Betfair to bet this up for me.
I know. I can't wait to be watching it with a bunch of English people either. It's gonna be.
I know.
It's gonna be great.
Watch England do them now after all this shit.
Yeah, that then it'll be torture. But yeah, enough about the English. Next game of the round. Heartbreak for many supporters of the tournament. I think everyone had kind of taken Japan under their wing as one of their teams that they wanted to see do well.
Yeah.
It ended up being a 1-1 draw to Croatia. Japan deserved it so much more. So much more. But as we've seen with Croatia in international football, they just know how to get it done.
Konnichiwa round of 16, sayonara quarterfinals. Tough. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Japan, it felt, I don't know, it's just sad, isn't it? They were good. They were good for a bit.
They were good in this game. They were really good in this game.
Yeah, I think so. That's the thing against Croatia. Like, I feel good is like a weird word because I don't know what Croatia want when they play football. like you're watching them. Like, do you want the ball? Not really.
Yeah.
You want to be able to play it through a bit. You have less pace than under 21 team. It seems like not an 21 team, like a Sunday League team. It seems like they just have no pace anywhere. They're just trying to get some like chip through ball to Kramaric to score, but then somehow Dejan Lovren is going to step across the halfway line and KD beating into Perisic's head 1-1.
I know that's one of the best crosses of a ball.
Best crosses I've seen all tournament. It was so.
Yeah.
I rewinded it to be like, is that Dejan Lovren? I could not believe he did that.
I know, and the header was remarkable.
Oh, that's Perisic, bro. That was coming. But yeah,
say less. But
Modric is whack.
Yeah, Modric. I think as well as that being the best cross I think I've ever seen, that's hands down the worst I've ever seen Modric play. I think he had a moment in the first half where Croatia managed to create in a chance, and it all came from like an outside of the boot dink he did over the Japanese defense, which was, kind of trademark.
Yeah,
but,
I remember that. That was hard.
Apart from that, nothing in this game from Modric like showed me anything that I know he can do. At the time, it looked like he was just knackered, he was just walking around the pitch. And when have you ever Modric has always been this energetic midfielder that you cannot get a break from. Is always on at your heels or in front of you, and I don't know. Maybe he has that. Maybe Croatia have that same sort of, I don't want to say agreement, but like thing in their team as Argentina, where they're aware that if they're going to get through, they need this person at their best, so they kind of allow them to take the game at their own pace.
I think I need to start looking at some of the like advanced stats on Kovacic as well, because he's not passing the eye test in a minute. I very often forget he's playing. I really often forget he's playing, and then I'll be like, "Oh, where's Kovacic?" And then I'll find him, and then I'm like, "Okay, cool." But there must be some like pass completion thing I'm missing, because I don't. Yeah. He is not passing the player I thought he was at all.
Well, I have a hypothesis. I keep getting, even though I know exactly what both of them look like, whenever Kovacic is on the ball, I keep thinking it's Kramaric. And whenever the Kramaric is on the ball, I keep thinking it's Kovacic. I don't know why. It just their numbers, like the style of the Croatian number, like the 9 and the 8 look similar. They both got like similar trims, and I just can't tell them apart on the field. But
like, I know what
need
Brozovic
to see more.
Does. Yeah, like I can see Brozovic come picks up from deep.
He just
play around the corner.
runs, bro. He just
runs.
runs.
Me that stat.
Yeah, he has the 2 records for like distance ran in a game. He holds position 1 and 2. And to be fair, I thought he was breaking up a lot of the play. I think he was probably their brightest midfielder the whole game.
Every game, you know exactly what he does.
Did his job.
But, and his link-up plays quite nice. Picks up from deep, 1-2, drifts into a space where he's not really in the way.
Yeah, and he kind of has a bit of finesse about him, which you don't.
Great player.
You don't expect from like watching him play, watching him defend, but he can really pick a pass.
When now it's like with Modric, you drop in like in between the centre backs a lot of the game. It's like Kovacic. I'm not sure why you're here now, and I'm thinking maybe Rakitic was the better one. When I was always calling for you to be in the team, maybe it was maybe we are missing Rakitic here.
Yeah, I always thought Rakitic was outstanding. Always thought he was brilliant. He's definitely past it now.
I think Kovacic in the Prem is brilliant. I think he offers you so
much. The Prem suits him very well, I think. The Prem is more suited to his game, whereas I think we've seen with international football, it's kind of hard to see how the game is going to play out just because of all the different natures of how each country plays and all of the leagues within that country. But yeah, unfortunately, sayonara Japan.
Yeah,
We'll see you in 4 years, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to win by 2050. The FA came out and said. Seems like everyone says that.
Yeah.
Everyone says that, but we'll see.
Might be ambitious, but
yeah,
whatever. And then in the next game, we also had to unfortunately say goodbye to our other Asian team that made it through the group stage. Brazil gave South Korea an absolute walloping. It was 4-1 by the end of the game, and the South Korea goal, it was a huge deflection, to be fair, but it was very much consolation.
I thought the South Korea goal was a banger.
Took a deflection.
Did it? I thought he just rifled it.
Took a deflection.
Oh, fair.
The deflection was what beat Alisson.
Oh, okay. Oh, God, yeah, obviously you knew. Back your boy in that. Richarlison, goal of tournament?
He's got number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think at this point, which is mad.
Yeah.
That bicycle kick was outrageous, and I haven't seen that since like Spain 2012. Like that, the way they fired it in so fast at each other as well.
2 centre backs did
Yeah.
that, which I thought was wild. Firstly, why are they there? Strange. Not one of them thought to track back. But they're both like hanging around. The head juggle was nuts. That was like something you can't even do that in FIFA. And I always thought I had this to come in, so let me do my bit. I always thought it was weird when Richarlison, Barcelona bid like £70 million for him when he was at Everton, and everyone was like, "What?
Did they? Oh yeah,
it was something like 6." Yeah, see, and I was like, "What are we all missing?" Like clearly this. Yeah. Talent-wise, when he's on it, he just does unreal shit. He's just one of the most Brazilian players ever.
Yeah,
presses really hard.
Yeah, for Brazil, he seems to be one of the hardest working players I've ever seen. And you don't see that at club level.
No, he does press. He does. He's got great pressing numbers, but not like this. It's like another thing. It's like a tenacity to it, and it's. I think it's been such a tough World Cup for Gabriel Jesus. I know he plays for Arsenal, and it may sound like I'm chatting shit, but like, it's just gone so wrong for him.
Well, he's out for like 4 months now.
Yeah, to not start, for that guy who's got into the team to be shining, scoring, doing everything everyone wants. For when you play, nothing happens.
Yeah.
You lose to Cameroon. You then, all the other games, you just can't create anything. And then you get injured for 4 months as you watch your team maybe lift the World Cup. I don't think it can go any worse. Yeah.
Tough.
But they were electric this game.
Side note, I think that'll have a huge impact on Arsenal's season, but we'll talk about that another time.
Canny way. Let's see if Nketiah figures it out.
Good luck.
Lol.
Yeah, I think this is like when you tune in to watch Brazil. Although I wanted South Korea to do well in this tournament, this is exactly what you want to see.
Yeah,
exactly what you want to see. I don't care. Like, I can't people hounding them over their dancing.
Like, shut up.
I know. Have you not watched Brazil? Ever since I remember watching Brazil, they do that. So how have you not gotten used to it by now? Like, Roy Keane and Graham Souness need to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, oh, Christ, grow down. I don't know. Like, someone take, like, a rod out of your ass, Roy. Like, I get it, bro. It's literally called, like, watching Brazil. Like, it's literally called that. It's the best thing you can do in football is this.
Yeah.
It's the best thing about football. It's watching Brazil be good. Because no one's from there, but we all agree this is fun. You know? Like, and they do it in a way which is not, like, it's not when you watch Barcelona, it's like, oh, they could be beating your team in the Champions final, and they're just passing it about. Like, and then give it to Messi, or they're just killing you with 1,000 cuts, which is entertaining, but it isn't the 100th time. This shit This shit is it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's so good to watch. I don't know how anyone can have a problem with it at
And
all.
everyone knows, and I think what I love about this as well is that everyone knows the history. Like, you have all the Pele stuff of him rabanaing people and bloody like flicking it over people's heads and scoring all the goals in the World Cup, and then you have the like Garinchas and all that crap, and then you have that period that we've seen that we weren't like that knew about that much, but then you see him in the crowd, and we all know those players. We've all watched the highlights of those players, and we've seen the pictures, and then you're now watching this like new generation of it, and it's like gives you chills. Like it's the football at its purest form, like the story, the drama, the skill, nothing better. And Roy Keane can fuck off.
Yeah, I know. He can just do one. I think my first World Cup memory. Apparently, my mum says I watched 2002 with her, but I don't really remember it. But my first World Cup memory is Brazil beating Japan in 2006, and it was amazing to watch. Like, it's just levels, man. That, like you said, it's just levels. And it's not as it felt like there was not really. Well, there definitely. I don't know what the hell Korea were doing all game. But like, it felt as if there was just no tactical approach. It was like, go out there, have fun.
Just go hoop.
Just love to see that. It's like watching Harlem Globetrotters play like Cardiff Archers.
Yeah. Because it's like you can't. It feels like you can't tell them once their tails are up. You can't tell them shit. Because now they're in this weird free state where these guys are the best thing ever. Like, it's like they enter this zen mode, and the only team that's really you've seen do it are like Portugal last night. That they enter this like playground, everyone move everywhere, just freedom that is just football in like its purest form, and I love it. You see Real Madrid get into it sometimes, where it's like they score like 3 goals in like 20 minutes, and it's it's like actually like special. Like, it's so rare, and it's like a joy to watch.
Yeah.
Another hot take. Souness is the one who said Casemiro is a bad player. Roy Keane and both of them are Ronaldo's biggest fans. So I understand they played the game for a while. But surely there's a line where people just realise maybe they just have like dumb takes. You know, you can play football for ages, being in a lot of dressing rooms and have dumb takes.
Well, football has changed a lot since they played, especially Souness. He was elbowing people in the face and legally.
Yeah.
The
there
game's
was a video
different.
of him like at the Scotland World Cup, like getting a glass of champagne after they got a result. Football's different now.
Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't
On
happen
ITV.
anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. But
no one goes out to the boozer after a game.
No.
None of the players are doing that.
Yeah, they like each other. They're friends. Like, that's nice.
Yeah.
I used to be anti that, to be honest. I remember like one of the things we talked about, like, I kind of don't like it, but then you think about it more, and it's like it's just a game. Like surely it's nice to just compete against people that you like.
Yeah. Like, if you had interaction as like with a company, working in your own company, but you work together all the time, you're not gonna hate that person just because they work for another company. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, just grow up at that point.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah. But yeah, South Korea, I think probably the less said the better. I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah, bro, so lost. What they were pressing from the start. Crazy decisions.
They tried to play 1v1 against Brazil.
Yeah. Insane.
Mental.
Also shows how like impressive some of the other coaching's been against them up to this point, to be able to like lock them in. Because as soon as you open the door against these guys, they'll eat you alive.
Yeah. They looked electric
also,
the other day.
Yeah. I hope Rafinha gets a goal soon, because I think he's playing really well.
Out of his skin, yeah.
Because he was shaky in the first game and really came alive, and I just want him to get his goal, because I think... Because I know, this will be a common theme for all our content. Anthony, I think, is a whack. I don't get it. I don't think he's very good. I really don't think he's very good. Numbers would kind of support that. Just a shot merchant, like, loves a trick. But Rafinha is Anthony if he was good, to me.
Yeah.
Does the right thing. Makes good decisions. and it's just as technical, but just thinks it's not. You don't have to do the trick every time.
Yeah, and when he does cut in and shoot, it's just as good, if not better.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a reason why he went tearing at the Eredivisie, but we'll get onto that. That's another day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Son might be a bit washed as well, but we'll see.
Whoa, that was a sentence I was not expecting to hear.
Yeah, we'll see.
Coming from the king of Spurs himself.
I've got a shirt, bro. I watch him every week, and it's not been great. But this was like, he was no better for this. And I think maybe it's his face, but like he wasn't brilliant before the thing that happened with his face. So we'll see. Hopefully he can bounce back. But it's not been a good 4 months now.
No, it hasn't. Apart from that one hat trick. Yeah. But onto the next. Actually, even though it went to 0-0, a good game to watch. Morocco, Spain.
Yeah, fun.
Great game to watch, I thought. Amrabat. Someone needs to sign him now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I know, we know.
He made arguably the best holding midfielder of all time, and probably maybe the next best two centre mids of our time look like they'd never played football before. It was nuts. Yeah. He completely ran that midfield and didn't try to do anything too fancy with it. It was just get your foot in, get the ball away, play it off to your centre back or play it off to your winger, and that was his job the entire game. And he did it to perfection. And there were a couple. He had a couple break moments where he was able to release like a Hakimi or a Ziyech into a more attacking position. And I think he did everything right that game, absolutely everything. But the rest of the Morocco squad were impressive too. I thought Ziyech was brilliant this game. Hakimi, to be honest, I didn't think Hakimi like really stood out in this game, and obviously until literally the last kick of the game. But I think that's all for all the better.
Bro, I was just about to say that. Great take.
Yeah. Right, go ahead.
No. Yeah, finish. Oh no, yeah, I'll run it. No, Go. My bad. I think it's a credit to the team.
Yeah.
That like he plays part of it. Like you look at Alfonso for Canada, just all over the gaff, like wherever you want to play, whatever. They can't even play him at left back because everyone else is disappointing. Hakimi, it's like, I'm just going to play right back. And if I'm really good here, like everyone else is good enough. Like I trust these guys to go and get it done. Bafal's out here looking like why Southampton sound Bafal. He sent Llorente to the park.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That little shimmy without even like touching the ball. Crazy. It was just pure shoulder and foot work. It was great.
Nah, I think this team is quite special. Really. Yeah. Like they absolutely, it's cool to see a Muslim nation do it, like praying at the end, all very like dedicated to like two things, kind of like being Moroccan is like really important to them all, and they're not like one of those countries, not to like slant these countries, because obviously football's football, this shit happens all the time. They all seem very much from Morocco.
Apart from
Hakimi was born in Spain, he was born in Spain. But both his parents are Moroccan and like chose to play for Morocco. He could have easily played for Spain. Like it would be weirder if a guy called Ashraf Hakimi went and played for Spain. Yeah. But all of them just are so like happy to be there. Seems so like they're playing for like something bigger than just themselves, which is just dope, man. I really like this Moroccan team, and it's cool to see an African team into a quarterfinal again. Yeah.
I think they've been a breath of fresh air. I don't think a lot of people writ them off before, like to come out at the group stage, but they've shown that they deserve to be here more than anyone. I think in all of the games that they've played, they've not like backed down against anyone. They've taken it to every single team, not changed their style of play unless it's been like a tactical tweak to make their style of play that much better. But they've sort of taken every game with the same approach and said they're not going to change, even if the opposition is, someone like Spain. But Spain, I don't know, man. I don't know. Is this time of playing football at an end, or do you think they just didn't play it? Not an end, because I have no doubt that if Spain were to go away from this style of football, some other nation, some other football club brings it back at some point. But for now, I think it's time. You don't have the two best central midfielders in the world anymore, which I think arguably you might need to play this type of way.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just off dome. But I thought going into this, the like separating thing was going to be the midfield in teams. And I thought like great teams need great midfields, and that's why Spain made a lot of sense to me. Because you can rely on it, you know what you're going to get from it. And the service will be constant. So even without like elite forward players, someone will be able to figure it out. But it's turned out to be like completely the opposite. That like you need the forward players, which has always been, that's football. But what Spain have like defined that for like a generation, like Barcelona did. But what Barcelona have always had that seemed to get like missed is elite forward players.
Yeah.
And maybe you're right, like at what point can you not rely on a system which is going to be creating stuff for Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, and Morata? Because Ferran, like, their skills are build up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be worth just having lesser players with different skills in the team to just have some sort of edge. Because I felt when like Nico Williams came on as well, he was really, really good and gave something completely different, and should have started the game and stuff like that. Where Gavi and Pedri, like, I think with they're so good with the ball, they're so good at pressing, but they lack a lot like physically. Like Amrabat bullied them, bullied them, and Busquets has never been a bully.
No.
So maybe you're right, man. Like maybe it is just the end of being able to win at the highest level this way. Like it's pretty, but it just doesn't seem that effective anymore.
Yeah, it's if you're gonna move the ball like they want to move the ball, I think you have to have in each position on the pitch like one of the top 5 players in the world. Which that Spain team back in 2008, 2012, unarguably did. They maybe had the best position in the best player in every position in their respective positions in that team. Because now you've got people like, don't get me wrong, like these are talented players for sure, but like Asensio, Olmo, Javi, Pedri is not David Villa, Xavi, Iniesta, Pedro, Torres. None of them even is just like pure ball players and not what they were.
But I think even if Pedri and Javi were Xavi and Iniesta, it wouldn't matter. Because I think the biggest separator is if the like Pedro to Olmo, it's a massive, massive jump. And like Villa to Morata and that other one I totally forgot. But like it's a massive, massive jump. And until you fix that, it doesn't matter how much service you have. It doesn't matter how much ball you're going to have.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame. And I think it's a shame for like Javi and Pedri's like short-term legacy as well. Because I don't think they're brilliant footballers. Because it made me question, how good are they? Or are they like system players? Like if you put that at Newcastle, like how effective is that? Or like like Zaragoza, like are they dominating a game? You don't know.
Yeah.
You look at Jude and fuck.
Yeah, they've lacked the killer up front for quite a while, Spain. But whether it comes soon, I don't know. It's been a while since David Villa and Torres, and there hasn't really been any sign of one showing up. Like the best you'd say was Diego Costa, and that didn't work.
It was bad for Spain, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work at all. He's just not their type of player, and he's not that sort of hybrid that could do both. But yeah,
I can imagine it being like really tough though, because I think like in Spain's FA, and like through La Masia, Barcelona, and like through Real Madrid, they breed a certain type of player. and then they buy this other type of player. So if you're like a really talented player in the academy, you're likely just going to be playing centre midfield, where like it's like we'll buy Rafinha, we'll buy Dembele, we'll buy Lewandowski. The chances to get into one of those front three at a team like that is just near on impossible, which stunts your development and tough.
It's true. Yeah, true. But yeah, adios España. We'll see you at the Euros. And then our last round of 16 game. What a treat to see after the round. I think not the result anyone was expecting. I think a lot of people thought this game was going to be a lot closer than it was. Obviously, we had Portugal taking on Switzerland, and Portugal ended up battering Switzerland by 6-1, with the Swiss goal being just a small lapse in concentration, really, from the Portugal team when they were already, I think, 4-0 up. And is this the true end of Cristiano Ronaldo, Tees? Is this the time? I don't want to make it all about Ronaldo because that kind of takes away from Portugal, but yeah, we've got to talk about it.
Yeah. Is it the like worst fall from grace you've ever seen from a footballer of that kind of even ballpark caliber? That is not a scandal. Yeah, not a scandal.
No,
so like just football.
Yeah. Well, if we were talking footballing ability, I would say no. I'd probably have to say Wayne Rooney. But if we're just talking fall from grace of like superstardom, this might be the worst meltdown I've ever seen since Britney Spears shaved her head.
Oh. Kyrie is doing crazy things in the NBA. Like that was some great meltdowns in different sports. But yeah, no, in terms of like watching a star fall, like, because I go in to talk to, I was just talking to my girlfriend about it, and she was like, he's not in the team. And like, that's what she thought was mental. And I'm like, you need to listen to this other stuff. He's not in that team. He got dropped from his club team. A club team where he won the only Ballon d'Or. Won everything for that team. He got dropped from that team. Did an interview with Piers Morgan. Said he's focused on the World Cup. Gets dropped from that team. And his replacement scores a hat-trick. And they have their best World Cup knockout performance maybe ever? In spite of him.
Easily ever. I don't think it's close.
So then... you can't play him now.
No. I've never ever enjoyed watching Portugal so much. They were amazing to watch. Amazing.
Yeah, no, it was the best team performance we've seen all tournament.
Yeah. I would say so.
And everyone's like, "Oh, Switzerland rolled over." Switzerland don't roll over. That is not a team that rolls over. You roll them over. And Portugal rolled those guys over. Yeah,
like don't forget Switzerland were 2-0 down to Serbia. They came back to win 4-2, was it?
Exactly.
4-3, one of those. Like they're a team that are known from coming back from one goal down, 2 goals down. And Portugal just did not let them. They suffocated them any chance they had the ball. I thought, to be fair, Mbolo did as well as he could have in that game.
Balled.
Yeah, as well as he could have. Never really had a clear chance. Like we said, Akanji got that goal that it was like a lapse in concentration where there was a flick on from a Portugal player and then he was just at the back post to head it in. But their build-up, the whole game was incredible. And João Felix finally looks like he might be the player that we all thought he could have been when Benfica first sold him.
I never thought he could have been that guy. What he was yesterday was like top 10 player in the world kind of João. Like that shit was scary. It's when players, it's as if they play different sports. It's crazy when you watch it because it's like it's just someone comes in and it's like, oh, everyone's playing really well and somehow this guy looks way better than all of us. Yeah. Also, I've been a Bruno hater for a while, and he's been phenomenal this tournament. He was so good yesterday, and has been so good this whole time. He's looked better than Bernardo, and that's mental to say out loud.
Yeah, well, I think to just steer it back to Ronaldo for just 10 seconds or so, Bruno, amazing at United before Ronaldo arrived, was like hands down their best player, scoring and assisting goals for fun. Seems to play very well whenever Ronaldo is not in the Portuguese team. I think I don't know if he likes to be, or he only thrives when he's the best player or perceives himself to be the best player on the pitch, or it's just the presence of Ronaldo is this more irritation rather than any sort of boost you get from having him on your team. Yeah. It feels like he draws more from it than is gotten back, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Maybe we're just underestimating the egos of elite level footballers as well. Like,
Sorry?
not everybody is Bukayo Saka. We might just be underestimating the egos of elite footballers. Like, not everybody is Bukayo Saka, who seems to just be like the nicest guy in the world. Like, these guys at club level. Like, Bruno left Sporting late, so maybe he does like being the main man.
Yeah.
And that not being that messes with him. It messes with how he trains. It demotivates him, and then he therefore plays worse. But then you put him in. Was he captain? Was Pepe? Probably Pepe.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't Pepe.
Yeah, but probably the leader then, really. And then bang, just give me the ball now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're the big guy on campus again. And yeah, it's scary. And that handshake thing, that video was weird.
Yeah, I did not believe any of the excuses that came out afterwards. Like, body language is the most obvious thing in the world to read.
These guys know way more about football than we could ever dream of as well. So when they're out there, they know they're better when he's not playing. Yeah. And if I'm talking to my coach, I'm telling him. And I'm telling him in front of Ronaldo. I'm Bruno Fernandes. Like,
but you've got a World Cup to win. You can't be caring about whether Ronaldo plays.
Exactly. And I can imagine they're all like that. And that when he plays, they're telling the coach this is a joke. He's moping around. Ronaldo knows, so it's a war in the dressing room. But we can't let that come out because it's the circus. But then, when he gets dropped, the team huddle before that game must have been electric. Electric. All of them just like, this is our chance.
Yeah.
We can show the world. They took more than took it. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Gonzalo Ramos. That first goal.
Crazy.
I know we were talking about best goals of the tournament, but in terms of finishes, that's the best finish I've seen in this tournament. There's literally no saving that.
Yeah. When it went in, I was confused.
Yeah, same. And so was Ali McCoist. He was like, what just happened?
Yeah. Because I was like, he's missed. I was like, the net rippled. And then Summit, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you see it drop down from the roof, and you're like, is that in? Or is that out? Yeah. And I think you texted me about it yesterday. The fact that they can bring on someone like Rafa Leao in like the 85th minute, and then he scores that, probably the second best goal of the game. Actually, maybe the best goal of the game. I don't even know. There's so many goals. But he looks so special.
So special. All of them. Like, because Ramos doesn't have that. Like, he scored 3 good goals, but he doesn't have that, like, wow, when you watch him play. He just played really well in the game of football. But, like,
clinical.
Do that.
Clinical.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, yeah, Leao comes on and physically, he's, like, built like a NFL player, it seems like. And he moves like a gazelle.
Yeah.
and technically, it's just...
You sound like Attenborough.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because he's playing against tired players that it, like, makes it, like, more exaggerated. But he comes on, and you're like, how is this kid not starting every game?
Yeah.
Like, he look, different. So different. What a goal.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of confused me, to be honest. Like, you just watch him. Especially when, João Felix was amazing yesterday, but prior to this game, I don't think he'd really arrived at the tournament. He'd had a couple, flashes, but Leao's been What's he got? 3 goals now? Is it 4? Maybe even 4? Like, he
Nah.
showed up in all of his appearances.
Yeah, I think he scored twice. I think he scored in the first one and hadn't scored since yesterday. He may have.
Okay. I thought he scored a
Yeah.
second in the group somewhere. But he showed up. Every chance he's gotten, he's taken it. Like, you can't really argue against that. But I think Felix, playing as well as he did yesterday, you'd be dumb to take him out of the squad at this point.
They don't really play with like who plays off the left? Like they don't. They play that weird, that funny diamond in the middle.
Yeah.
Like they don't play that, so they do have to break it to bring him on.
Yeah.
But now the Ronaldo thing, I wouldn't even bring him off the bench now.
No.
Like
no,
I'm just sending a message at this point.
Yeah, because you can see when he comes off the bench, like even yesterday.
They're rubbish again.
He was like, "Give me goal," basically.
Yeah, he's a plague.
Yeah,
like he genuinely makes everyone around him worse, and I'm just gonna like not play him if I'm the coach and be like, I'll die with you guys because he's not going to make us better. I'll bring you on for pens.
Yeah.
You bury a pen. I'll bring you on if we're in extra time.
Bet he wouldn't take one. Bet if he didn't play in the game, he'd refuse.
I know, yeah.
Apparently today he refused to train with the squad and like made
no
sure.
way.
Yeah. Well, not like. So there's the morning post game where the starting 11 all go get their treatment, all that blah 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 that they need because they played like however many minutes of football, and then the squad players go do the warm up training in the morning, and he refused to be a part of that and went to go have treatment with the first team because he didn't want to be in the squad rotation session.
I would send him home.
Yeah,
I would Onana him. I'd Onana him. Because surely we're trying to win trophies here.
Yeah,
and he is just a distraction now.
I
was as
he
well.
got sent home.
I was before this tournament as well, like a bit like I don't think Manchester United should have treated him as badly as they did because of what happened with his kid. And I thought more of that was like something to play into it. And he must have been having a hard time, and like I think there is a level of respect when you're not like there's a level of respect you can play a player like that, and there must have been a way of dealing with this better.
Yeah,
but now it clearly is evident that you go to a totally different team, a team you've won a trophy with all these brilliant players, and you're still unbearable.
Yeah, I know.
Like there's no give or take with him.
No, there's no convincing anyone could give me as well. Like how I felt about Ronaldo has basically been the same for the past 15 years, and it's not slightly wavered in this at all. But yeah, enough of Ronaldo. I think we were gonna do quarterfinal previews, but
yeah, we'll do that tomorrow.
yeah, we are at an hour or so. So today, that's where we'll round off today's videos. It's been a pretty thrilling round of 16. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it depends which country you're supporting. All the favourites seem to get through, bar Morocco. So there's only one real, I guess, dark horse that we're cheering on in the tournament now. But yeah, all the favourites kind of left, which is nice to see. Bar Germany, but I think a small fraction of people would have actually chosen them as their winner. But we've still got France, we've still got Argentina, we've still got Portugal, we've still got Brazil, and we've still got England. Those were people's kind of choices. So this next round, I'm expecting nothing but fireworks. Nothing but. But we'll get into that in another day's video. So, for now, you signing off?
If you could make your bet again, would you still bet Argentina right now?
Yes, because I might get better odds.
None of that. If you could make that, if you'd make that, would you make that bet again right now?
No.
Yeah. Smart man.
No. So, yeah. Adios, everyone.
Deuces.